5 hijackers seized IC-814. India had one chance to stop them, and it vanished at Amritsar on December 24, 1999. The Airbus left Kathmandu for New Delhi on a routine winter flight. Less than 1 hour after takeoff, masked men rose from separate seats carrying pistols and knives. One man displayed what appeared to be a grenade, instantly freezing the entire passenger cabin. Another hijacker forced his way toward the cockpit, while the remaining men controlled every aisle. The passengers were separated, ordered down, and trapped inside what had become a flying prison. Captain Sharan secretly transmitted transponder code 7500, the international warning for an aircraft hijacking. Delhi received the warning, but the national response moved far slower than the aircraft itself. While officials struggled to understand the threat, the hijackers ordered the pilots west toward Pakistan. Fuel was already falling, turning every minute in the sky into a hidden countdown. The hijackers reluctantly permitted Amritsar. At 6:44 p.m., IC-814 finally touched Indian soil. This was India's moment. The plane was stationary, fuel was low, and the hijackers were contained. But no assault teams surrounded the aircraft, and no heavy vehicle blocked its escape route. Officials delayed refueling while organizing a response, but specialized commandos remained far from the runway. A fuel tanker approached, then stopped abruptly. Inside, the hijackers interpreted the movement as an attack. The atmosphere changed instantly, and the hijackers attacked passengers to prove their threats were real. If he remained, more hostages could die. If he departed, the engines might lose fuel. At 7:47 p.m., the Airbus accelerated without clearance, and India's best opportunity disappeared behind it. Amritsar was not the end. It transformed a domestic hijacking into a dangerous international siege. With fuel nearly exhausted, the crew requested Lahore again, but the runway lights were switched off. Only then did Lahore illuminate the runway, allowing IC-814 to land with almost no margin. Pakistan refueled the Airbus and ordered it onward after Kabul proved unsuitable for a nighttime landing. The aircraft turned toward the United Arab Emirates, where negotiators secured the release of 27 passengers. At dawn on December 25th, the Airbus departed again. Its final destination was Kandahar, Afghanistan. Kandahar was Taliban-controlled territory, where India had no embassy and almost no operational freedom. Armed Taliban fighters surrounded the aircraft, sealing the runway beneath a ring of weapons. Their presence appeared protective, but it also made any outside rescue operation extraordinarily dangerous. Inside, exhaustion, failing sanitation, cold air, and uncertainty strengthened the hijackers' psychological control. Then came the demands: cash, a militant's body, and the release of 36 imprisoned fighters. The crisis had now moved beyond aviation and into a high-stakes geopolitical hostage negotiation. 155 remaining hostages became bargaining pieces in a trade for experienced imprisoned militants. Indian negotiators arrived using time as their weapon. Reduce demands, prevent executions, and stop another departure. Every hour created negotiating space, but every hour also punished the exhausted hostages inside the cabin. Negotiators rejected the largest demands and slowly reduced the prisoner list from 36 names to 3. India faced a brutal equation: refuse and risk executions, or agree and release experienced militants. Families across India demanded immediate action, while officials measured the possibility of a catastrophic rescue attempt. Armed men surrounded the aircraft, and negotiators knew one failed assault could become a massacre. On December 31st, the government accepted the exchange and flew the 3 prisoners to Kandahar. On the frozen runway, the released prisoners crossed toward freedom while the hostages waited inside. Only after confirmation did the hijackers begin releasing the passengers and crew from the Airbus. After 7 nights, the surviving hostages finally walked out and returned to Indian custody. One passenger was dead, while many survivors carried injuries, trauma, and memories of impossible choices. But the hostage release was not the ending. It opened a much darker investigation. The first failure appeared before takeoff. Weapons had passed through the departure system in Kathmandu. The second failure unfolded at Amritsar, where India possessed control but could not convert it into action. Information moved slowly, authority was divided, and the specialized response arrived after the Airbus escaped. The third failure was international. Every border crossing reduced India's legal, diplomatic, and tactical options. By Kandahar, geography, armed forces, and an unrecognized regime, the most disturbing twist emerged only after the hostages and hijackers left the runway. The exchange saved lives that night, but one released prisoner soon created a new militant organization. The runway exchange cast a shadow far beyond IC-814, and its cost continued accumulating afterward. Could the hijacking have been prevented? Yes, but only before India's options collapsed one by one. Stronger departure screening might have prevented weapons from ever entering the aircraft cabin. A reinforced, locked cockpit door could have denied the hijackers direct control of the Airbus. At Amritsar, immediate runway immobilization and a ready command structure might have contained the aircraft. But any assault remained dangerous because armed hijackers stood among tightly packed and terrified passengers. Modern aviation therefore relies on overlapping layers: screening, intelligence, locked cockpits, command protocols, and response teams. After major hijackings, reinforced cockpit doors and tighter restrictions on sharp cabin objects became standard. India later enacted the Anti-Hijacking Act of 2016, expanding offenses, jurisdiction, powers, and punishment. No layer guarantees safety. Together, they prevent one delayed decision from becoming the only decision. IC-814 was not lost because an engine failed or because the aircraft could not fly. It was lost through a chain of security gaps moving faster than officials could close them. By Kandahar, India was no longer choosing good versus bad, but between two different disasters. The hostages came home, but the danger escaped with the released prisoners. Both truths remain. One passenger died, while 155 hostages returned home. Share this story so the warning survives. One share can reach someone who believes aviation security begins and ends at a metal detector. Subscribe to Hidden Forces, where every investigation reveals the systems operating quietly beneath ordinary life.